Just a very small questions to Michael. Getting to the land where we're all very early stage studios and we're trying to come together as a team, bring the first LP, etc., etc. What, let's say, big mistakes or what learnings did you
Small
had
question, you said.
looking?
Keep going. You said small question and you landed the word LP. The good thing is it's very well documented on everything LinkedIn, so that helps. I do like a studio notebook once a month where I do another learning at something I fucked up.
Okay.
The biggest fuck ups is the best way to look at this because it's entertaining. First two and a half years, I've put down at least 1 million, maybe more, and then maybe 1.5, 2 million from investors. We did paid residency. We did our own IDs, and we learned is that, okay, great, but it's not that it cannot work, but we cannot work with that type of founder because we want people with skin in the game that know how it feels and basically work hard for it, because our tactic with everything that doesn't work is volume, right? I always call it ass and seat time. So what happened is all the companies we had back then, we looked at and said, look, we're 2.5 years in. What if we do another 2.5 years? Do we think these companies are going to make it? And we looked at each other and said, no. So we sold and exited everything we had in the portfolio and went back to our LPs and said this, we need to raise another 2.5 million. By the way, we just sold everything. My learning would be that you clearly do a vertical and a proposition you're comfortable with, and say no really quick in the beginning if something doesn't work next, because I forgot my role was to chase the no. And with sales, I'm the best in chasing the no in sales, but I forgot it's the same thing with running a studio. If the data is no, it's no, right? Of course, there can be benefit of the doubt. That meant is we worked with 2 of our companies too long. And that's too long, a year or 1.5 years or whatever you want to call it. A year at a studio mostly costs somewhere between 1 and 1.5 mil. You do the math. So that's my biggest learning. I mean, secondly, while doing the brand, I try to do some content. It's hard. Now I tell every LP the same story. You know what? You got in a bit later, but 1.5 years ago, we sold the entire portfolio. So whatever value you're looking for, not all of it there is yet because the first 2.5 years are gone. But if you put your money in now, you're basically here, and here. These are our learnings. So when we document our learnings, it feels real, it feels entrepreneurial, because the studio doesn't have institutional investors. The fund might, but the studio doesn't. So that's the second learning. And the third, less money is more result. So if you put in less money, you'll get founders who can do the same with less money and even get more out of the same amount of money. So when we, in the past, would have put in 250, even 500, and then some of it will be built back in services, they would spend it in 6 months and get nowhere. Now, with the same money, they basically would become profitable, right? So, we do less money, more involvement, more intensity, earlier no's. LPs vibe with that because it's a business. And I think so if you start treating it as something different, this is the next big thing nobody ever heard about. When it goes wrong, it's all you. But if you tell them it's a business and this is the outcome is assets, this is what we put in, this is how we do it. It won't work for a long time, but when it works, imagine it works. That's basically the best words to say. Imagine one of them works.